Welcome back. We're here live in Manchester, New Hampshire in the CBS workspace, and I'm joined now by WBZ political analyst Jon Keller. So, Jon, here we are, midday. What do we need to look for now?
I would say, can you feel the excitement?
Yeah.
But to be honest, and we always try to be honest with our viewers, not a whole lot of excitement out here.
No surprises expected, right?
Well, it's one thing to say, well, the polls are sometimes wrong. And that's true.
They are.
Rarely have I seen all the polls in such agreement. Tracking polling over the last few days has shown voters coming toward Donald Trump in categories where he sometimes struggles. For Nikki Haley to break through tonight, or even to make it close, is going to require an unexpected surge of centrist, more moderate independents and Republicans coming out to the polls.
Well, and that's what you have here that they don't have in Iowa, right? Much more moderate
Correct.
Republicans. So do you think they really can add significant percentage points for her?
They could if every last one of them shows up, but I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Right.
I think that the sweeping Trump win in Iowa, albeit with a relatively small number of voters actually turning out, I think that sort of validated Trump for voters who might have been on the fence. Keep in mind, one of the criticisms that Nikki Haley has made of Trump, one of her arguments for not going with him this time around, is that he's a loser. That he lost the House, he lost the Senate, the Republicans did under him, he lost the presidency, and Trump-nominated candidates here in New Hampshire in the last cycle lost their congressional races. But coming out of Iowa, he looked like a winner. And I think that might have given a lot of people permission to show up today and vote for him. We'll find out soon enough.
One of the other shocking moments of a New Hampshire primary surrounding Donald Trump, I remember standing right here in this room in 2016 when the winners of the New Hampshire primary were Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders, and no one could have ever predicted that.
Yeah.
This time around, the surprise might be, is this thing over tonight?
It is if Trump swamps Haley, because what will happen is Haley donors will say, Nikki, we love you, but that's it. You know, no one likes throwing good money after bad. That's what happened to Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis didn't pull out of the race when he did because the polling landscape was daunting. It's because his donors said, Ron, you're done. And that's how it works in big-time politics. And I think that's what will happen to Nikki Haley if she doesn't defy the predictions of the polls to a significant degree.
Right.
And, you know, this guessing game of what constitutes a viable second-place showing is just sort of a media parlor game, Paula. But let's play. I think 10 or less is a margin that might be respectable enough for her to continue.
And, you know, when you look back, she skipped that final opportunity to a debate last Thursday. And so she really didn't create a moment for herself heading into New Hampshire. That might be looked back on as one of those political blunders.
Possibly, although you look back on the debates, which all were Trumpless, and she, I think, was acknowledged to have consistently turned in a superior performance. That's what helped fuel her increasing numbers up here. That plus a heavily funded TV ad campaign. You know, when you have voters in the field repeating back lines from your ads, you know it was effective.
They know them well.
But it wasn't enough to stop the Trump Express.
All right, Jon Keller, thanks so much.